Snowboarding is a recreational and competitive activity that involves descending a snow-covered surface while standing on a snowboard that is almost attached to a rider's feet. The development of snowboarding was inspired by skateboarding, sledding, surfing, and skiing. It was developed in the United States in the 1960s. It was featured in the Winter Olympics in the year 1998 at Nagano, and further featured at Winter Paralympics in the year 2014 at Sochi. As of 2015, its popularity, as measured by equipment sales, in the United States peaked in 2007 and has been in decline ever since. In today's video, we will talk about the topic, history of snowboarding. Long before the term snowboarding existed, and at least 80 years before it was an Olympic phenomenon, people were zipping like surfers down snow-covered hills. The first instance came in 1917, when a 13-year-old Vern Wickland stood on a modified sled that he rode down his parents' backyard in Claquette, Minnesota. Wickland patented the idea nearly 2 decades later, but produced only a handful of models. Modern snowboarding began in 1965. Sherman Poppin, an engineer in Muskogee, Michigan, invented a toy for his daughters by fastening 2 skis together and attaching a rope to one end so he would have some sort of control as he stood on the board and glided downhill. Dubbed the snurfer, combining snow and surfer, by his wife Nancy, the toy proved so popular among his daughter's friends that Poppin licensed the idea to the manufacturer Brunswick Corporation that sold about 1 million snurfers over the next decade. The real breakthrough happened when Dmitrija Milovic, a Cornell University dropout, founded Winterstick, the first modern snowboard company, in 1972. With steel edges, laminated fiberglass, and most crucially nylon strips for one's feet, Winterstick boards allowed riders to ride through more treacherous topography than its predecessors had. Snowboarding went mainstream soon thereafter, amid a fierce rivalry between Jack Burton Carpenter, a race enthusiast from Long Island credited with coining snowboarding, created Burton boards in Londonderry, Vermont in the year 1977. The snowboards were made of wooden planks that were flexible and had water ski foot straps. Very few people picked up snowboarding because the price of the board was considered too high at $38 and were not allowed on many ski hills. But eventually, Burton would become the biggest snowboarding company in the business. Burton's early designs for boards with the bindings became the most dominant features in snowboarding. In the early 1980s, Alexei Statnegrosh and Alexei Malnikov, 2 snurfers from the Soviet Union, patented design changes to the snurfer to allow jumping by attaching a bungee cord, a single-footed binding in the snurfer tail, and a 2-foot binding designed for improved control. As snowboarding became more popular in the 1970s and 1980s, pioneers such as Dmitrija Milovic and Jack Burton Carpenter and others came up with new designs for the boards and mechanisms that slowly developed into snowboards and other related equipments. For these developments, modern snowboarding equipment usually consists of snowboards with specialized bindings and boots. In 1990, the International Snowboard Federation was founded to provide universal contest regulations. In addition, the United States of America Snowboard Association provides instructing guidelines and runs snowboard competitions. In the US Open, Olympic Games, and other events are broadcast worldwide. Many alpine resorts have terrain parks. At the 1998 Winter Olympics Games in Nagano, Japan, snowboarding became an official Olympic event. France's Corinne Ruby was the first ever to win an Olympic gold in the women's category, while Canadian Ross Rebagliati was the first ever gold medalist in the men's category. Initially, ski areas adopted the sport at a much slower pace than the winter sports public. Indeed, for many years, there was animosity between skiers versus snowboarders, which led to an ongoing skier versus snowboarder feud. Early snowboarders were banned from the slopes by the park officials. For several years, snowboarders would have to take small skill assessments prior to being allowed to ride the chairlifts. It was thought that an unskilled snowboarder would wipe the snow off the mountain. In 1985, only 7% of US ski areas allow snowboarding, with a similar proportion in Europe. As equipment and skills improved, gradually snowboarding became more accepted. In the 1990s, most major ski areas have separate slopes for snowboarders. Now, approximately 90% of all ski areas in North America and Europe allow snowboarding, and more than half have jumps, rails, and half pipes. On May 2nd, 2012, the International Paralympics Paralympic Committee announced that adaptive snowboarding would debut as a men's and women's medal event in the 2014 Paralympic Winter Games, taking place in Sochi, Russia. Snowboarding is an interesting activity. It's through snowboarding that our bodies are toned and at the same time getting a good cardiovascular workout. This is a sport that keeps on strengthening our heart muscles. Oxygen is excellently delivered to our muscles through snowboarding. It is a form of activity that helps us to burn calories and lead a healthy life. Once we are able to go down any given hill, there is that feeling of accomplishment and pride that there is a goal achieved. Snowboarding is worth a try. Hope this video added some value to your thoughts. Do share your views in the comment section below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so and hit that notification bell. See you in the next video.